Hello everyone, I'm back. So I decided to do a new uploading format, which is a pattern of speed make video and then an animatic, so I don't run out of ideas as fast. Anyways, I've seen other artists do this, but never with furry characters, so I decided that I would do it with furry characters. So I chose two aesthetics from a wheel and made Fursonas for each of them. This was a lot of fun to do, and it really tested my character design skills. Also, I originally intended to do 3 aesthetics, but I lost an hour's worth of footage, again, for the speed paint, so I had to do 2. If you've been following my community posts, it was this character, Primrose. This was actually the princess aesthetic. Enough of me rambling, let's get on to the characters. The first aesthetic I rolled was the mermaid aesthetic. Now, when I first saw what this aesthetic was called, I immediately thought of the beach and the ocean. Now I know that the mermaid aesthetic focuses on the fantasy aspect of mermaids, so this ended up being more of a beach aesthetic rather than a mermaid aesthetic. But hey, I think that it fit the character a bit better. Now, of course, choosing a Mano kit would be a good idea, but I wanted something a bit more unique. So I chose a dolphin. I had never drawn a dolphin before, let alone an anthropomorphic dolphin, so this was a bit of a fun challenge. For the color palette, I went with different shades of blue and orange. I gave him markings on all 4 of his limbs, not sure what they'd be called since they're not exactly fins. I also didn't give him fingers or toes to sort of nod to flippers. The markings on his flippers, I guess that's what we could call them, are orange and a light blue with bubble-like markings. That can especially be seen on his tail. I gave him a bit of hair since without of it he looked kinda bald. I also placed the dorsal fin on his head and neck area, mainly to make him look less bald. I also gave him eye markings and a dark blue underbelly with an attempt of a shell marking on his chest. I imagine his personality would be like Ariel from The Little Mermaid. I do imagine he'd like to collect shells as well, but his favorite item would be sea sponges, since dolphins use them to hunt in real life. I made his eyes a nice bright amber color to complement his blue colors. I then ended up naming him Cove. For the background I drew him with, I want to make sure it gave off a nice beachy vibe. I then shaded him, and we're done. The second aesthetic I rolled was the minimalist aesthetic. Now this one actually provided me with the colors I usually work with. The minimalist aesthetic usually works with whites, browns, and beiges, which are colors I usually work with when designing animal characters. Anyways, since the minimalist aesthetic works with the bare necessities, I decided to make the design of the Fursona very simple, but still distinct. I decided to make him a cat, since cats give off a very clean vibe, unless you're a cat parent with a gremlin cat. Anyways, I made the fur short with bigger ears and slight cheek fluff. For the colors, I used shades of beige, and I gave him very simple markings to match the calm, simple aesthetic. His muzzle is a lighter color with a pattern going down into a triangle shape on his chest. Under that, I gave him a marking that is a bit darker to add some depth. Further down his belly, I gave him a stripe to make him look less plain. On his ears, I gave him dots that were the same color as his belly stripe. I gave him shoulder pads as well as stripes on his feet paws. I made his fingers and toes the same color as his muzzle, and gave him a dual stripe on his tail. I decided to draw him drinking coffee and made his eyes a light orange. For his personality, I say that he's the voice of reason friend. And in the workspace, he's like that one coworker that has a perfect schedule for no reason. For the background, I wanted it to be simple yet cozy at the same time. I then shaded him, and we're done. And that's it. So, what did you guys think of the video? If y'all liked it, I would love to do a part 2. I have a number of videos planned for the future, and I'm really excited for you guys to see them. If y'all like my art, check out my community posts. I draw a drawing every Friday, and to see all of my drawings from a few weeks ago and forward, check out my Pinterest, which is linked both in the description of this video and the description of my channel. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel so much since the YouTubes like channels with comments, subs, and likes. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Love you guys. Bye-bye!